Good evening, everybody. We have a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Cape May. Today is Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. The time is now 4 minutes past 5 o'clock? 4 minutes past 5 o'clock. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Under the Open Public Meetings Law, notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape May County Herald and Press of Atlantic City, and a copy of the agenda was delivered to each member of City Council, posted on the city website and City Hall Bulletin Board. Notice is hereby provided that Cape May City Council meetings are audio recorded and/or video streamed live. Live video streams are posted to the Cape May City website. City of Cape May is not responsible if audio recording or live video streaming of a meeting is unavailable. Roll call. Councilmember Baldwin?
Here.
Councilmember Bodnar?
Here.
Deputy Mayor McDade?
Here.
Councilmember Meyer?
Here.
Mayor Mullock?
Here.
City Solicitor Gillen Schwartz?
Here.
City Manager Dietrich?
Here.
Deputy Manager Riggs?
Here.
Deputy Clerk Turner?
Here.
Any additions or deletions tonight, Council? I have one recommended if you'd like me to detail that. So we distributed yesterday Resolution 19805-2026, a resolution authorizing change order number 2 to the contract for construction of new Cape May Police Department headquarters for addition to the regular agenda if council is so inclined.
Do I have a motion to add this to the agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade?
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar?
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin?
Yes.
Mayor Mullock?
Yes.
All right, updates and old business, Mayor?
Any updates or old business, City Manager?
Yes, I have a few this evening, so thank you. First, some good news out on the beachfront. Public Works got completed putting out the extension of the ADA mats. Obviously, we had taken them down after the storm last season. He was able to get them back out there, and good news is we were able to put them all the way back out to Madison Avenue, so you can now walk from Madison Avenue to the Cove out on the beach again. So those are back up. Again, once you make that long walk back, if you're walking back along the promenade, starting at the Cove, the benches are starting to be put back out there. I think they're almost down around lifeguard headquarters putting out, but they'll just continue putting them up. Just an FYI, the plaques have not come in yet, so as soon as the plaques come in for the people that have renewed their benches, we'll start putting the plaques out as we get them in. So just know that that is coming back. Work is continuing on several of our capital projects. If you were out on Monday morning, you saw a big articulated tube sticking up in the air, and that was putting concrete up on the second floor of the police headquarters building. So that now has a finished slab. So essentially, the underside is weather tight, which means now there's a lot of contractors out there working. You have the masons working on block work. You've got the electrical and HVAC contractors and the plumbing contractors all starting to show up and start to do work on the inside of the first floor of the building. Stockton Place, one of the last roads, we have that, and Idaho Avenue. So Stockton Place, by the end of this week, will be paved, and then they'll be moving over to Idaho Avenue to have that. It'll probably take about 2 weeks to have that. So hopefully before Memorial Day, Idaho Avenue will be paved before the holiday season. From a safety standpoint, the Public Works has installed bollards out in front of Collier's liquor store. That was, if you recall, last summer we had a real scary event where a vehicle decided that Lafayette Street should just keep going south, and so they kind of went into the Collier's Liquor and kind of banged the building up a little bit. So we're installing some bollards, and we're also going to be adding some chain just to keep the pedestrians from crossing in that area. And I'm really excited to say I've been working with West Cape May over the last month or two, and for a trial basis this year, we're looking at extending jitney service into West Cape May, and then to utilize some of their free parking at their borough hall, and extend the jitney in and out of West Cape May along our normal jitney route to provide another path for users to use. If everything goes right this summer, then we'll bring back a formal shared service agreement that will work between both municipalities to codify that long-term agreement. And with that, I think everything else, Public Works and everybody in the city is trying to get everything ready for the start of the season, and everything's starting to look pretty nice out there. So thank you.
That's great. Just a comment, city manager, it was interesting to watch them repave the promenade and the temporary ramps that they made to get up onto the promenade. That was pretty impressive, honestly. Yeah, pretty cool. City solicitor?
I don't have anything tonight, thank you.
Okay. City council, any updates or old business?
I just wanted to mention that the lifeguard headquarters ribbon cutting was this past Friday, and if you haven't had a chance, please stop in. It's really exciting for our female guards and the male guards to be in a rehab building, but they finally have facilities and accommodations, equal balance between the males and females. But the project turned out really nicely, even with all of the weather that the contractor dealt with over the winter months. So take a look around. It's a beautiful building. Thank you.
Okay. With that, we'll go on to presentations. We have Improving Water Sustainability in Cape May, Phase 1 and 2, updates from Columbia University. Justine is here with us today, representing the Environmental Commission. Thank you, Justine. This is really exciting. We're glad to have you.
Thank you for having me. I apologize. I've recently lost my voice. Bring the mic a little closer. For the past 18 months, the city of Cape May has been partnered with
Justine, I'm so sorry. Could you bring that much closer? It moves.
Closer.
Yep.
Okay.
Talk right into
Sorry.
it. Thank you.
Okay. For the past 18 months, the city of Cape May has been partnered with Columbia University School of Professional Studies and the Climate School. They have been studying water sustainability and conservation. Phase 1 was specifically with the School of Professional Studies. They identified 3 key areas for which the city could improve the longevity of the desalination facilities and reduce water demand. Circularity, desal ops, and demand in general, and then assess the finances of each of those groups. Circularity focused on what we can potentially do with the byproduct of the desal plant. There were several proposals offered. Because the desal plant does not produce enough byproduct, salt and minerals were not deemed viable options. The only one that was potentially usable was through landscaping. At this time, we do not have the infrastructure or team to use that byproduct. So moving on to the next area of research, the teams looked at how we can reduce the overall energy demands of the plant itself. You know, as Cape May faces its water shortage, we also have higher energy costs for the plant itself. It's very, very expensive to operate. By adding an energy recovery device, the city has the potential to save 20% of the plant's energy consumption. After this presentation was first delivered to council and Cape May, the city engineer and manager looked into the different models that are available today to see if we could retrofit one to the current desal facility. At this time, that is not an option. However, looking forward, as technologies continue to evolve, it is something that we should keep in mind, even for the future plant, if not initially, in the years that follow. It has the potential to save the city an incredible number of dollars. The team also recommended a full solar system for the roofing of the new desal facility. Could potentially reduce costs by $40,000 a year. The city engineer and manager has indicated to me that the solar plan will be implemented during phase 2 of the new facility. Yes.
This is a detailed question, but do you know why the building,
Is green?
no, there's a building without solar on it, and I just was curious. Yeah, at the top left of the photo.
I see it. I do not, but I'm happy to ask
Okay,
that follow-up question.
Okay, perfect.
The third group focused on water demand. We have had a water conservation ordinance on the books in Cape May City for decades. Anyone who was here in the 70s, 80s, and 90s remembers it. However, community conversation has all but forgotten it. So in an effort to bring the community back into that dialogue and increase demand from this side of the table, it was recommended that we implement a tiered water pricing system, a rebate system, business engagement, and community engagement. So that is pretty complicated. What does that mean? So there was a proposed restructuring of our water rates, a mailer that was designed as a template to include within the water bills, a redesign of the water bill itself that can explain to account holders how they are consuming and how they may save. There's then the cost-benefit analysis provided as to what this rebate system would look like. They crunched some numbers, looked at the top 100 accounts, and counted if the city offered a $15 rebate on 910 shower heads, a $140 rebate on 960 toilets, the city would spend approximately $150,000 and save 46 million gallons. These are staggering numbers, and this is a program that we highly recommend the city consider. Phase 2 of the project focused on developing further the work that was done by the demand team. They identified key areas of potential: a story map and media assets, a financial analysis tool, a community workshop, and a public art campaign. The story map using ArcGIS is really quite fantastic. I want to reiterate that the materials provided here are not final draft. The team has built a template, rough draft assets that we as the city can fine-tune and edit before we release to the public. But they've done an extraordinary job, and I'm really happy to share them with you today. So this is the draft of the story map that they have created. It can be linked through QR code throughout the city. It dates back to the time of Indigenous Americans and their relationship to water here. Looks at water challenges from a geologic scale and a community scale. Offers a timeline, changing water consumption, key water landmarks where it is recommended that QR codes be provided, actions that can be taken, links to the ordinance, and more advice for conservation. Now I need to get back to the presentation. Okay. The next deliverable that was provided were templates for table tents, brochures, social media posts, and marketing deliverables. The letter specifically would be asking businesses to potentially engage with this program and initiative to inform the community on how we can reduce water. Next, the team created a website for the city, or at least the bones of it. They wrote the code, which would allow for account holders to actually look at how their bills operate. So this is the rough draft. You can see the rates per gallon, quarters, late payments. It can link to the city itself, online portal, mail, Dropbox. And then you can actually enter in your household size, your estimated usage, and then how many conservation actions you would like to adopt. It's toggles here, and you can see what your annual savings and gallons per year savings would be.
Cool.
It's really a fantastic tool, and again, it's a rough draft, but it is something that is highly recommended that we continue to develop. They also provided the templates for mailers, one-pagers, to go out to residents, restaurants, and hotels. Currently, Looking across the top 100 accounts, we see that hotels with restaurants are the largest consumers, followed by hotels, then the residential community, then restaurants, and finally city buildings. So we need to target our outreach to those groups specifically. They then provided assets for what we would need to host a community workshop. How would we roll out a program like this? How do we engage those stakeholders and implement a tiered water pricing system? They created a draft for a flyer linked with a QR code, street banners, a schedule of events, and a letter that we can send out to residents. And finally, they've recommended a public art campaign. One of the issues that we have with water conservation in Cape May City is that we have so many visitors who do not have any prior knowledge of it. If we can reach them through table tents and public installations, then we can do a better job of actually having an impact. They looked at case studies in Mexico, Los Angeles, New York, the Netherlands, and they found that these public art campaigns are very effective. They drafted a call for a proposal for artists, identified grant opportunities, and have generated the materials that we would need to release that to the public. So that is it. I have summed up 10 working groups of work in hopefully under my time limit. And I'm sure that there are many, many questions. I'm more than happy to answer them via email at a later date.
Did a great job.
Thanks.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you, Justine, really appreciate it.
Well, only because I will say, we had the benefit of seeing a very expansive, presentation that you were going to do, which really was a lot of work that was done by the groups. And this really is a very salient and very, I think, deliverable summation of that. So really excellent job.
Yeah, Justine, if I could just mention, I mean,
Yes.
the product that has been provided by the Columbia groups that embarked on this it's absolutely professional product with really, there's the city can use this. This is something that's really functional and it's tailored for Cape May. It's tailored for our desalination plant. It's detailed for the residents. It's detailed for our businesses, and it's also detailed and provides information for the city itself, how we can all do better and come up with really work on this desalination project and come up with the solutions that address both sustainability and also keeping our costs down. So thank you for working so closely with them to keep them on task and also to educate them about Cape May, because I know we wouldn't have this product if you hadn't worked with them to really pull them into the community and to get them to be really embedded in here so they understood what our needs were.
Thank you.
It would be,
And I just want to add, so the original capstone project is up on the Environmental Commission portion of
Yes.
the Cape May City's website. So once we get all the final reports from Justine, we'll put this presentation along with the other reports that were just updated for this year on the Environmental Commission page. So that's where the public can go and find them if they want to go look.
Paul, could I ask, or Justine, that this version be shared?
Yeah, we'll put this PowerPoint
Okay,
on
perfect. Okay.
as a link on the Environmental Commission page also, yes.
The final folder of deliverables, the final report from Phase 2 was sent to me yesterday morning, actually. So, I mean, it's very extensive, but that will also be sent to you as well.
Justine, please share our major thanks with all the students, the professors that were involved. And you didn't have a lot of time to say this, but for the general public to know that I think the two prior cities that experienced this was Cairo, Egypt, and Mexico City, Mexico. I mean, millions of people. I mean, I think Mexico City is one of the largest cities in the world, but millions of people, and then Cape May. So that's pretty cool.
We're very fortunate.
Yeah.
The university has supplied us with hundreds of thousands of dollars of free consulting services.
Amazing. Yeah.
And thank you for the support and encouragement.
Yes. And thank you to all the Environmental Commission folks who were involved as well. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Justine. Okay, next up, you have some big shoes to fill here, John, after that presentation. So with us is John Becker on behalf of the USS Jacob Jones Memorial Site. John, welcome, and thank you for being here. Take your time.
Yeah, it takes a few minutes sometimes. It's the other one, though. Oh, it's not? Okay. Oh, great. I was doing this before. It was a
While we're waiting, I do want to thank John. Separate from this, John is also our Historic Preservation Commission chairperson, and I know you are coming out of a very busy season of HPC right now, but some of the reforms, I'll call them, that you've made along with the other members of HPC in having more meetings, I know has been, some of those Tuesday meetings that you've been having have been a real benefit to the community, so thank you.
Yeah, I'm on City Hall, but there's a different one I was using with Brian was a different one.
Just in case somebody, a lot of people don't know what you're talking about with those Tuesday meetings, John and Kevin, they get together and they work with applicants that want to come in front of the HPC, and it's in a working friendly way to know what could possibly be done, brainstorming a little bit, and then coming to the full HPC. So you're well prepared, you know exactly what to expect, and a lot of that groundwork is done at those meetings, and they've done a fabulous job.
There it is. Sorry, John. It's all right. I'm wondering did we disconnect the other one? I wonder if that's what happened.
Aaron, that's not still connected, right?
The other one didn't disconnect me.
There it is.
Good, there, now it's showing up.
Let's see.
Okay, there we go. That should do it.
See, this should do it.
Beautiful.
Hang on, let me just. All right, John.
Thank you,
So
sir.
just minimize that and all that, and you're good.
Okay, good. Let's escape out of this. So now I don't know how to get out of this. Okay. One more thing. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for having us back. You may recall the last time we were here was on August 5th. And after that meeting, we decided to take a break and start over. What I'm presenting tonight is a page one rewrite. Threw everything in the garbage can, let it sit for a couple months, started redesigning again in October, spent most of November and December redesigning, and then January and February creating some of the things that I'm going to show you this evening. So one point I do want to make right up front, that this entire project will be funded by a private 501c3 nonprofit organization. And you can see at the bottom of this slide is a link to our website for more information if anybody's interested. So just a little context. What I'm trying to do here is take the presentation that we made publicly on April 15th, which was half an hour. I'm cutting that in half. Hopefully I can even do better than that, but we'll do this as quickly as we can. For a little context, 4 days after Pearl Harbor, Germany declared war on the United States. About 9 weeks later, on February 28th, the first naval vessel of the U.S. military was sunk by a U-boat just off the coast of Cape May. It was the USS Jacob Jones DD-130, and it was a very strong piece of propaganda throughout Nazi Germany, validating their approach to having the U-boats along the East Coast. And the 138 crew members who died, their remains are still at the sinking site. 11 survivors were taken to the Naval Air Station, which is now the Coast Guard base. So this is the first memorial of its kind. We've done extensive research. There's no other memorial anywhere in the United States that attributes to a single ship that was sunk in the Battle of the Atlantic, except for one small plaque in Maine, and then, of course, the larger Battle of the Atlantic Memorial in Battery Park City in Manhattan. And one of the really powerful things about this is that this is intended also to honor more than just the crew members of the Jacob Jones, but all the folks who made the ultimate sacrifice in the Battle of the Atlantic. And this is clearly of very national significance. So you might note that here on the front page of the Philadelphia Inquirer, it's dated March 4th. So DOD was really frightened, in a way, to make this public. Didn't release it to the press until about 4 or 5 days later because they thought everybody would panic. But this also made national news and headlines in hundreds of newspapers around the United States, including Boston, Chicago, LA, Miami, St. Louis, on and on, including little places like the one on the top here, which is in a small town in North Dakota. So we have dozens of copies of these newspapers from that time period. And the idea that this is the one and only home for the memorial, being in Cape May, it's arguably the single most significant event of national import attributed to Cape May because of how it impacted our defense system along the east coast of the United States. It actually not only helped, well, the canal was built as a function of that in order to protect the supply ships that were getting sunk by the U-boats around the Cape of Cape May. And it demonstrated how vulnerable the East Coast was to the Nazi military. And it included the creation and development of some significant homeland security issues at the time, which were few and far between, including development of radar and sonar that didn't really, at that point, have developed very far. And one of the things I'd like to point out is that since Cape May is the only National Historic Landmark district that at the national level includes the entire municipal boundaries, this reinforces the historical significance of Cape May in that we think of Cape May as Victoriana, with its period of significance between about 1780 and 1840. Well, given the significance of this event, it just simply adds and reinforces the historical significance of Cape May, and in a way extends its period of significance by 8 years. Or 2 years, I should say. So since August, and with lots of deliberation, we heavily examined what would be the criteria for a desirable and appropriate site, and that evolved extensively. So first of all, within the city of Cape May, having the ability to view the sinking site, of course, thereby being next to the beach and the ocean with lots of symbolic attributes, not the least of which in this case is the abandoned and the one of two remaining World War II observation towers directly across the street from the site we're proposing. That is inaccessible, whereby the other one is. And have no impact on any residential neighborhoods, squarely within a commercial area, with a high accessibility to enhancing the promenade experience with low maintenance and security needs, and also no impact at all on the dunes and or any DEP regulatory processes. Core principles for design also significantly evolved, very much wanting to contribute to and fit within its natural ecology and habitat, and in fact do better than doing less damage, actually promote habitat and ecology in that place, but also be a place of humility, a quiet, contemplative, meditative space that is intended to be very much an immersive experience as opposed to just looking at something. And really, again, to honor these heroes, but do so with an inordinate number of what I'll call symbolic features, which I'll run you through real quickly. So The site that's being proposed now is directly across from the Grand Hotel, right on Beach Drive. And you can see in elevation there, that's where the World War II observation tower pops out of the top of the Grand Hotel. And we've had several conversations and a couple of presentations with the owner of the Grand Hotel, who has expressed his support for the project. The only thing he asked is that we locate it between these two yellow lines so that it was in front of the main mass of the hotel as opposed to in front of any of the rooms. So if we take a look at where our site is and connect it with this line to the sinking site, that line is 43 degrees due east of solar south, which will come up more importantly in a minute. So if we just simply blow up the scale of this, the actual platform upon which it sits is this red circle. Let's rotate it so that Beach Drive is directly horizontal so that we can take a look at a site plan. So that line that connects our site to the sinking site is the perpendicular bisector right here to the sinking site. So to orient you, the beach is to the south here. Here's Beach Drive. This right here is the new 3-foot-high wooden bulkhead that will be built. And then from that bulkhead, 27 feet will be a sloped landscaping area before we get to the new promenade, which is 18 feet wide. And then we have the cast-in-place concrete seawall. So in section, if we take a look at that, at the bottom of this drawing, here's Beach Drive again. Here's the wooden bulkhead. The existing grade is this dash line right here. So the actual level of the promenade will be roughly 5 feet higher than what that current level is. And the landscaped area will be sloped up to that promenade, and then the promenade goes from here to here. And then here is the cast-in-place concrete bench with the concave back. That is the seawall before the dune grades back down to the ocean. So the fundamental premise of this is we're calling it the Portal to Freedom, and the design is drawn into this section so that there, at its core, is an 8-foot cylinder portal through which you walk before entering the memorial. So we spent some time doing some computer simulations in context of what this looks like. At the very center of it, which generates all these geometries, is a 2-foot diameter bronze plaque, which is a reproduction of the seal that we had made by a graphic designer. That the intention is that that be made out of bronze that is cast from bronze that has been salvaged from the sinking site of the Jacob Jones, that will be melted and reused to make this plaque. We're still waiting final word from the Navy to ensure that that's acceptable, because there have been significantly more stringent restrictions for diving the site since that stuff was salvaged. So that center line that connects to the sinking site is right down the middle here, which is tiled and slightly depressed so that any rainwater that falls on this concrete can then be collected and drained into the planting bed here and here at the other end. So the promenade's located here. The main platform upon which you initially arrive as sort of the threshold is a foot above that. So on one side you come up 2 steps to arrive. On the other side you come up a ramp to arrive. Pass through the 8-foot diameter portal into the sacred space, or the meditative space, which is shaped precisely derived from the blueprints of the Jacob Jones that we were able to get from the Navy, thanks to George Shue. And those are created by framing members that are floating and slightly canted to suggest that the bow is sinking. And that's then flanked by 2 fence pieces with welded wire so that the planting beds that surround that of coral honeysuckle will grow up those walls and will grow up those fences and become what we call a living wall. And those coral honeysuckles are native planting that are powerful pollinator plants, predominantly for hummingbirds. And then that's flanked again by another layer of 6 to 7 foot high bayberries that also provides food for the local bird habitat. So this is what it looks like in 3 dimensions if you were sort of hovering above Beach Drive with, of course, the ocean in the back, and you penetrate through the main portal. And here are the ribs of all out of stainless steel, marine stainless steel, called SS-136. And from the Beach Drive, it would look like this nested in that planting. And what happens here is all 138 names are cut out fully through this inner plate of curved stainless steel. So all of those names are then backlit by virtue of this second layer that allows the sun to bounce around in here and backlight these names through the cutouts. And at nighttime, there's a very low voltage, very dim LED hidden lighting source that also backlights all 138 names. So the idea here is that instead of the names being remembered in some sort of dark carving, which we see in almost all memorials around the country and the world, that they're actually being remembered in light. So from eye level, this is what the entire composition would appear to look like from Beach Drive. And there's also a celestial component to this. You may recall that that line to the sinking site, which runs right through the middle, at the terminus, once you arrive in the sacred space or the meditative space, there's another portal that's 2 feet in diameter that you stick your face in so that you can focus your view directly out to the sinking site. And it is designed such that when the altitude of the sun on February 28th, the date of the sinking, when the sun is directly in alignment with the sinking site to our site, that altitude angle passes the sun through this opening, this portal, and precisely illuminates the 2-foot bronze plaque on the floor of the memorial. So inside of it, this is what the experience would look like, nested in nature by virtue of the honeysuckle growing up the walls to, again, enhance the floating nature of the bow pieces of the ship. And then from the promenade side, it would look something like this, and it's intended to enhance that promenade experience with something that is a pause place, as well as a place to add some interest to the walk of the promenade, and it's intended to very much be embedded in the habitat on both sides of the promenade. And the whole idea also here is that it's kind of hidden inside of all of this habitat and vegetation, so you really only understand it when you walk through the entire experience and pass through that first portal. So what we also did was we created a little cinematic film of this, and I want to show you that. Here we go. Those are 2 benches for folks who are waiting. And again, you don't quite know what's going on until you come around it and then go up and experience the whole choreographed sequence. So lastly, to close, we have done extensive. There's been a whole committee who's been doing research on the descendants of the Jacob Jones. And first and foremost among those are Lieutenant Commander Hugh David Black. And what that photograph in the middle is his grandson came last September once his father died and he met with us for breakfast and talked all about this. He's a New Jersey guy, or Captain Black was, to scatter his father's ashes, Commander Black's son's ashes, over the sinking site. So one other really fascinating piece of information with all of the descendant researchers. There were 3 sets of brothers who were on the ship who went down. And speaking of brothers, we have a little message for all of you from the oldest of the 2, or the oldest grandson, or the brother of who you saw dumping the ashes, who would just like to address all of you for a brief moment here.
Good evening, Mayor Molek and members of the City Council. For the record, my name is Greg Dorn, and I reside in Spokane, Washington. I wish that I could be with you in Cape May tonight so that I could personally thank you for this opportunity to address the City Council. Mayor, I am proud to say that I am the oldest grandchild of Lieutenant Commander Hugh David Black, the captain of the USS Jacob Jones and a native son of New Jersey. My mother was only 9 years old when the Jacob Jones was attacked and sunk off the coast of Cape May by a German submarine, And next month, God willing, we will be celebrating her 94th birthday with her. On behalf of the extended family of Lieutenant Commander Black, I can say that we are excited and deeply moved to learn of the local grassroots efforts to design and construct a memorial monument to honor the crew of the Jacob Jones and all of the sailors who so bravely fought in the Battle of the Atlantic. We fully support these efforts and stand ready to assist in any way that we can. Mayor, I find great comfort and joy in knowing that the ultimate sacrifice made by the crew of the Jacob Jones that fateful day has not been forgotten, and that future generations will have the opportunity to honor and pay their respects to these brave men and to reflect upon the losses of and sacrifices made by families like ours so that all of us may be free. Thank you so very much, Mayor. I wish you and the City Council the very best in your deliberations, and I look forward to the opportunity to meet you and to thank you in person. Good night.
And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for your time.
John, that was moving, and I think, personal opinion, would love to hear from other folks, but I just think you knocked it out of the park. Yeah. And it says a lot to not take that such pride in authorship, but I think you really took into consideration a lot of comments from a lot of different people, which is not easy to do. And I think what you did is just incredible, honestly. Yeah.
Well, also, I'm sorry, John, just to follow up on that. You listened, which is probably the most important thing that came out of this, was really listen to what people were saying and took the time to step back and say, we still want to achieve this goal, but we have to revision it and revision it with what would be acceptable to the community. And I think you've done a fantastic job, so.
Thank you. I have to say that the public comments made it a better design. And I also have to say that it's not me doing it. This comes from some other source that is not me.
Mayor, if I could just before, so I was alerted that the presentation mode might not have been working on the YouTube, so this presentation, possibly Justine's, might not have been presented to the people in the public. So I just want the public to, we'll post both of the PowerPoints on the website so that they're available to take a look at them. I just wanted the public to know that, that are viewing maybe from live on the YouTube to know that we'll get it up there, so, later this week.
We'll get the presentation.
We'll get the presentations up there so that they can look at the presentations.
Because that's a shame, because if the public didn't see that, it was a really wonderful presentation. So please check it out on the website.
I just wanted to make sure that.
Yeah. While we have John here, is council, are we okay to open it up for public comment?
Absolutely.
Right now, I'd like to open it up for public comment on John's presentation. If you have any comments that you'd like to make or questions, please feel free to come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, if you would, please.
Hello, my name is Devin Barrow. I reside on 1379 Washington Street. Please cross street from the Seaview. Everybody knows where that is. My father passed away in 1989 on the Tammy D. 2 other people on the boat. Never found anybody, but their names are all inscribed in the Fisher's Memorial. Now, somebody told me about this project. George Shue, actually, he was a friend of my father's back when they were in Harrisburg, and he told me about this project, and I was like, this is amazing. I think it's a great idea. Mainly because when people lose parents or family members to the ocean, you don't really have anywhere to go. You don't have any finality. So, I think it was back in around the early 2000s, they tried to move the Cape May Memorial. I don't know if the Fishman Memorial. And there was a huge outcry of the community because they're basically saying hey, we're going to move your cemetery. And nobody wants that, right? So for something like this, where it said 138 sailors passed away, that's 138 families, at least, of people that don't have anywhere to grieve. And I guarantee you that 138 people is probably up to 1,000, 2,000 family members who will look at this project and say, hey, that's our family name on that plaque. And I think that's a fantastic idea. So, like, our future is in our past. That's our past. I mean, maybe Cape May can be more of a World War II historical place to see. And so basically all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Devin. Thank you.
Dr. Christopher Traficante, 1062 Pennsylvania Avenue in Cape May. 138 members. Now, for a moment, just metaphorically close your eyes. Presume you were related to them. Presume you had nowhere to mourn them. Now presume that you came here and saw them. We are losing we're losing over 100 of our World War II veterans a day. The latest count is anywhere between 45 and 66,000 veterans left alive. Don't let their memory perish. My father was a decorated World War II Navy vet. I see no better way to remember these people than to have a place where we could mourn them and salute them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc.
Good evening. My name's Elizabeth Hyde. I reside at 1007 New Jersey Avenue. And I just had a couple questions, if you wouldn't mind. So I'm not opposed to it. I really appreciate all the comments that you took in to revisit this wonderful project. And I would also suggest to those of you who have not ever been, but if you take a trip out to the Point and you go into Fire Tower 23, there's a lovely memorial to the SS Jacob Jones, and it also captures, they have a video that captures the visit when the family members came to visit Cape May before they passed. And so there's other information there. I don't know if that was part of the research that was done, but I learned about it from an article in the Star and Wave, and it's really quite something. And given the connection with the tower and its significance, looking for U-boats back in the day. It's interesting that you pick the Grand because you may not all be aware, but it was built around one of those towers. So the connection between the two was not lost on me. But I'm really curious, what are the dimensions of this? I mean, I just don't really, I've been to a lot of the memorials in Washington, D.C., but I don't really have an appreciation since I live so close, and just wondering, I have a difficult time visualizing because the whole reconstruction of the boardwalk hasn't really taken place in that section yet.
A couple things that may help. This is a drawing that actually shows, let's see if I can get this real quick. There's a person right here, so you can see the scale of it. So that's a 5'9" high person, and the top of it is at 8 feet. This dimension is 8 feet, which is about half of a car length. And then in plan, the memorial itself, let's see if I can get this here. Yeah. So this space, the meditative space, is roughly 11 feet by 16 feet. And then all the platform itself, just this circular concrete area, that is a dimension of 34 feet. That's it. So
Okay.
if you look back at that site plan, escape. If you look at the site plan from where we showed it early on here, this will give you, that's exactly that 34-foot diameter circle. So that's the scale of it in context.
So when I'm looking at the dotted line, the green space to the right, is that where the pool is?
No, the pool is here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the awning to the entrance. Okay, okay.
Yeah, so
I
this,
see
the
that.
pool is right here.
Is it the restaurant area, John?
Yeah, this is actually the second floor
Balcony.
balcony that looks out over
I
the
got you.
beach.
Okay.
So the entrance to the Hemingways is right here.
All right, great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Good evening.
Evening. Hi, my name is Vince DeJamo, and I live proximate to where the proposal is for the monument. I'm on Maryland, just off of Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is our beach. And I've seen what was in the newspapers, and I took a walk out to the beach today, and I kind of looked back towards the Grand and imagined this monument being there. And I was moved. I said, you know, this works. This works. And I saw the tower in the background, and I see how those two blended from the historical stuff. And I'm really excited about having it as a neighbor and seeing it there. And I think you guys have done a great job.
Well,
Thank
you. Thank you. Ani?
Bonnie Ponton, 30 Gurney Street. Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening, Bonnie.
members, City Council. I'm going to reiterate, I need 2.5 minutes of your time. The USS Jacob Jones was the first United States Navy warship sunk by German forces in the Atlantic Theater after Pearl Harbor. Many people in this room have direct connections with relatives who served this country during World War II. On a personal level, my father was a World War II Navy pilot, lifelong resident of New Jersey. My father-in-law, born and raised in New Jersey, served during the war in the United States Coast Guard, patrolling the waters of New Jersey and all along the East Coast aboard a schooner disguised as commercial fishermen, manned by fishermen, looking for U-boats strategically positioned along the entire coast of the United States. On March 3rd, 1942, the headlines of the Newark Evening News read, "Sub sinks destroyer off of New Jersey, informing the citizens of Newark and the rest of New Jersey of the sinking of a United States Navy warship by a German submarine." The article continues by saying the first torpedo hit just above after the bridge, leading to a devastating explosion that sheared off the forward section of the ship. A second torpedo struck near the stern, causing further destruction and igniting the depth charges in a massive explosion that left little hope for recovery. 84 years have come and gone since the fateful day of the sinking of the USS destroyer Jacob Jones. We, the citizens of Cape May, are honored to be able to finally pay homage to the men lost to this tragic event that happened right off of our shores. This will be a significant opportunity and a sacred and solemn obligation as we honor this hallowed grave site, as well as honoring the hundreds of American soldiers lost to Nazi U-boats during the Battle of the Atlantic. My hope is that this final memorial be offered and hosted by the City of Cape May, all who call this home and all who wish to visit. This overdue tribute will give national recognition to the men who made the ultimate sacrifice. The monument will be located here in Cape May, New Jersey, but the recognition will go well beyond our borders and shoreline. As residents of Cape May we all get behind this project with a rallying cry of support. To borrow a segment of the American plea to the French government after the Battle of Normandy, when General Mark Clark asked for only enough soil to bury our gallant dead, we ask for only enough sand to honor our gallant dead. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie.
By the way, this is an image of the latest monument that was built on Normandy Beach.
Good
Called
evening.
Les
Teresa
Braves.
Hsu, 29 Gurney Street. Thank you for this opportunity to express my support for this initiative. This memorial recognizes the sacrifice of these 138, preserves their memory, and reminds us of the sacred spot off our shores that became their final resting place. These 138 who answered the call to serve the country during time of war. And the memorial has been designed with great thought, beautifully designed. In fact, I'm wondering whether in a previous life you worked on the pyramids or something. I'm so blown away by the sighting and the whole exercise of having the sun shine at that exact moment on the 28th of February. The memorial will offer the public a place for remembrance, for sharing, for education, for learning the story of the Jacob Jones. I don't think it's widely known. And just an opportunity to express our pride in military past and present. Cape May is a city that values history, respects history. I urge you to give these 138 men a permanence and in our thoughts and an honorable place to rest. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Mullick and Town Council. My name is Kevin Black. I live at 912 Corgi Street. And in full disclosure, I'm the treasurer of the USS Jacob Jones Memorial. I just want to reinforce our commitment to this memorial not having any impact on taxpayers. To date, we've received a significant amount of support for the memorial and very positive feedback regarding donations from both Cape May residents as well as non-residents. And all of this is contingent on, obviously, the vote tonight. That's it.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
Well, maybe last but not least, for the record, Jim Testa, 1501 Beach Avenue, Cape May. And for purposes of complete disclosure, since most of you know that I also sit as vice chair of the HPC, my remarks tonight are going to be personal remarks. They're going to be individual remarks. They don't seek to analyze or talk about the merits of this, but they will be, I think, personal and heartfelt, and that's really what I wanted to bring to your attention. To say that that this has a personal connection to us and our family is to let you know that my dad also was a World War II veteran. He was a Navy man. He was a sailor. He served as the radar man of LSMR 401, for those of you who aren't familiar, landing ship medium rocket, and was on his way through the Pacific Theater to participate in the invasion of the Japanese home islands. It's fortuitous that when that happened in the summer of 1945, that the war ended before he got there, and it's probably the reason why I'm mostly here tonight. But I will say that if my dad were here, he would say that he loved Cape May. He visited it often. He took great pride in many things that we have here locally. Being trained as a draftsman, he appreciated our architecture. Being the son of a carpenter and master builder, he appreciated construction and preservation, but he really loved the sea. He visited the Naval Air Station. He was proud that we had a naval presence and a Coast Guard base. And I think if he were here tonight, he would say that what we are seeing in terms of this memorial is an extremely appropriate and well-designed, well thought of, and a significant contribution toward those who sacrificed to give us the liberty and the freedom that allows us to be here tonight and talk about things like memorials. So I would say that, in my view, this is a very significant addition to the Cape May catalog. I think it will bring us attention, and rightfully so. I think that we will be the better for it. And I do think that it'll confirm what we know from many other instances in Cape May, that this is a little town, but it's got a really big heart. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else on the Jacob Jones? Yes, please. Yes, sir. Take your time.
Sir, you could sit right here if you'd like.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Oh, no, right there is a chair.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much indeed.
Make sure it's got the green button.
There we
Just
go.
speak right into that microphone, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Bob Myers. I live at 1108 Lafayette Street. And I, too, am the son of a World War II veteran. My father was a Strategic Air Command pilot and retired as the director of the B-52 Maintenance School in Chanute, Illinois. I've followed this project from its inception in the paper. And I must say that it reminds me that whoever said that there are two things you never want to see being made, sausage and legislation, was absolutely right. It's been quite an ordeal, but I think the process has worked. I sense it's come to a good point. I support the comments of those that support the project and understand them. And I would say, excuse me, that one criticism that I read of in the paper needs to be disposed of, and the criticism was that this project was too scientific. The technology and the mathematics that underpin this project also underpins Stonehenge, the pyramids in Egypt, Chichen Itza in Mexico. And it's part of the brilliance of the design that the oculus of the design focuses the light of the sun on the plaque on the day of the sinking as people stand and look toward the site. I assume that the person that offered that criticism switches off their sat-nav when they come into an historic town and they reach for a paper map. Thank you for your consideration. I strongly encourage the project and hope
Thank you,
will
Bob.
support it. Thank you.
Thank you. So, yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Lance Fontaine, 30 Gurney Street. Just to follow up on what my wife was saying earlier, as I looked at this, I didn't realize how far-reaching this is. And it was mentioned a few times tonight. And I can tell you firsthand that my father was on a schooner, about a 70-foot schooner, sailed the North Atlantic disguised as fishermen with other Coast Guard guys, and they were out there spotting German submarines and radioing back their position. So, I mean, I have a direct contact with this that I never even realized, and I'm sure there's other people around the country that feel the same way. So I endorse this, and hopefully you'll carry it through. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Anyone else on this topic? Okay, we can close public comment on the USS Jacob Jones. I'm almost disappointed that we don't have a resolution that we're looking to approve tonight on this.
Well, I think our attitude towards it is,
Yeah.
shows how we feel.
Yeah, I rarely put the pressure on council like this, but I fully endorse this, and I think you just have John and everyone involved took all those different public comment opinions and questions and just hit it out of the park, and I just think it's beautiful. And as many people, I think you even just heard tonight that this is going to touch a lot of people, that there are a lot of people with relatives that were in World War II that will just greatly appreciate this, and I think you just did an incredible job. So, congratulations.
Mayor, I just want to add that it has already been a success. One of the comments was that not enough people know about the story of the men that were on the Jacob Jones. People that visit Cape May, people that are longtime visitors of Cape May, people that reside in Cape May. Over the past year that you've been working on this project, you and your team have already brought that story to light to so many more people. So you've already succeeded. But I would just add, I look forward to voting in favor of moving forward with this project and offering city support for that when we have that opportunity.
So the true thanks should be given to Miles Martell, because this was his brainchild, his idea. He was the one who put the committee together, and it's because of him that we're here talking about this.
The only other thing I would add is just when we sat at this table back at the latter part of last year, when you have a community that went from not really wanting this, questioning it, fighting against it, to having a community that embraces it, kudos. Kudos for the work that you have done. I say your Da Vinci model of a brain that came up with this. But also the fact that you guys stuck to it and you listened, and this community, by the presence of these people tonight and the comments, have embraced this project, which I would not have thought if I look back at sort of the tenor of the room at that point in time. So much congratulations, and I fully support it.
And I do have to, I have to actually kind of comment on what Maureen just said. Working with you also on the HPC, this is the true man that he is. Takes, all of the information that was given throughout this entire process. And just like you said, you came up with a beautiful project. It was a work in progress, and what you have now is just amazing. I've supported it from the beginning, and I just think that the way that the committee has been very professional, very open, very transparent with the public, and accepted all that criticism and came out. I think this is just a win-win for the city of Cape May. And the blessings that you're getting, you can see it, it's very evident. So, thank you. And thank you to the committee.
Good.
And I just have one thought, too. I can't think of a single person walking on the promenade and not being curious and walking over to see what that is. And I think, more importantly than that, I think when the kids get to see it and go in there and the parents explain the history, it's going to be something really impactful for our young Americans.
Okay, great job. What's that?
So, Mayor, so for the upcoming meeting,
Yep.
I'll work with Chris to work on a resolution and maybe a draft shared service, not shared, but an agreement to move forward.
If anyone
with the
wants to
project.
stay to give us the same accolades on the parking meter, parking meter increase, please feel free to.
That's good news.
With that, and please feel free to, if you're leaving, it's no problem, take your time. We'll move on to ordinance for introduction. Sorry. Yeah, take your time.
Yes, we have 602-2026, an ordinance amending Chapter 7 of the City Code regarding metered parking in the city of Cape May for introduction.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
For some discussion, please?
Yep.
Mayor?
Yeah, please, yep.
So I've had some discussion, and I know individual council members have had discussions with me and maybe between each other, but not collectively. And I think I'd like to sum up some of the discussions that I've had that might coalesce, hopefully, the discussions of where we're at, I would like to make the following recommended changes to the ordinance that's been drafted. Because we really drafted this ordinance after MTRAC made their presentation, and I think you kind of gave us a broad brush guideline of what we felt the ordinance wanted to be. But as we thought about it and started looking at some of the devil's in the details kind of a thing, we started to think that maybe we need to make some adjustments. So the first adjustment, I would recommend that the yellow zone, instead of the $4 per hour, that goes to $3 per hour. That makes it a more moderate increase from the current $2 an hour and just increasing it by $1. And the intent was to really have a separation from the yellow zone probably being around the Washington Street Mall area, and having that different than the other parking areas to kind of make it a little more selective and prospective, if you remember the MTRAC's description of why you create those two different pricing zones. So I'd make that first recommendation. Second, there was some discussion regarding the blue zone. Blue zone is the areas, I'll say, east of Philadelphia Avenue and that area. There was some discussion. That doesn't get a lot of, I'll say, the shoulder season parking. So, even though we were trying to create consistency amongst the zones, I think it does make sense to put that back to, not revise that zone, so to remain from April 1st to October 31st for the blue zone. All the other zones would red, yellow, orange, and green. Sorry, I had to think there for a second. We have almost all the colors of the rainbow, but we're not quite everything there.
We are trying to simplify this, I believe.
So all of those zones are going to April 1 to December 31. So that is a change for that. And then obviously the ordinance is really changing. I'll say all of the zones are going from $1.50. All the other zones besides yellow would go from $1.50 to $2 an hour. So that would be a 50-cent increase. And everybody should know these parking fee numbers haven't been changed in over 6 years. So this is the first increase for parking fees in that time. We had some discussion regarding the 3-hour time limit, and a lot of discussion. The area within the yellow zone is signed for a 3-hour limit. However, I was just doing some research in the ordinance. I don't believe that 3-hour limit exists for any of the colored zones in the ordinance currently. So we don't have to remove anything, we don't have to add anything because it currently doesn't exist. I'm gonna have to work with Public Works to remove those signs because we don't really have an ordinance that supports it. What is in the ordinance there's time limits for the parking lots. So the Jackson Street parking lot is listed as a 10-hour limit, which that's our 10 to 10 kind of time limit. All of the other parking lots, Community Center, Welcome Center, City Hall, and then the private lots that we've just added on are all listed in the table as a 3-hour limit. What I think, and I didn't obviously have a chance to go back and look in history, my belief would probably believe that some of these colored zones were listed in these tables that listed different parameters, but as we've, over the years, brought those zones more into alignment with each other, they got pulled out of the tables and into the main body of the paragraph of the underlying ordinance, and then therefore lost that 3-hour time limit underneath of them. So I know we had that discussion about the 3-hour time limit, but I don't think we really need to bring it up because I reviewed it. I don't believe any of the metered zones except the parking lots, have a 3-hour time limit.
Paul, I'd just be speaking for myself, but I'd like to hear from the bid, specifically around the mall. I mean, that is our biggest issue in regards to, you know, getting people moving out of those areas. If the folks around the mall who know it the best were concerned that cars were staying there for too long.
Yeah. So we did some initial review of the information. When we looked at, we had the most time to look at, I'll say, Lyle and Carpenter Lane. When you look at the average time, the Park Mobile lists that to say, they're around about an hour and 45 minutes.
But that also included Ocean to Perry also. It was Ocean, Perry, Decatur, and Jackson.
Right.
So it was, you know, and it was consistent. It was interesting. It was very consistent for a 2-week period in July.
Right.
Yeah.
So we didn't, obviously, we didn't look at the whole summer every day or something. So we just looked at that.
I think I'm saying it more as a public comment to the bid. If they felt like, hey, these cars aren't moving anymore.
Let us know.
Is that, yeah, let us know.
Now, I did get some comment back. I had one member of the bid that come back and said, hey, you know, they felt that some of their customers needed to stay there a little bit longer. Because if you kind of think about it, if I'm going to go out to dinner or grab a meal and then do shopping, you're probably going to want potentially 3 hours, maybe 4 hours, depending on
I always
how
like
much.
the limit. That helped me out. Oh, we got to go. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think what we're saying right now, though, is that we're not going to impose the limit. We're going to take that
Right.
portion out. And then we're going to look at the data, hear from the bid over the summer months to find out if this has more of a, I guess, a negative impact, an unintended consequence of cars not moving enough. Right?
But what I will say is that 3-hour limit has not been enforced.
It hasn't.
You know, whether or not through the Park Mobile app, which we could force people to not be able to re-up, or, you know, from an police enforcement standpoint of the old chalking of the tires and seeing how long your car's there. So over the years, I'll say at least within the last 2.5 years that I've been here, the police enforcement have not enforced the 3-hour limit. So
It hasn't been an issue that we've heard about, but if it becomes one,
We
let us
can-
know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then you take a look at, since it hasn't been enforced, the signs all say it, Park Mobile says it.
So it's kind of self-enforced.
It's
It's
kind of
self-enforced.
self-enforcing
It's self-regulated.
to a
It
certain-
did. It absolutely did. So, you know, if we remove it,
If
then
we
we see what the consequences of that are.
And we'll live with it for a season.
Yep.
And see.
Yep.
The bid does have a meeting on the 11th.
Okay.
So.
All right. You can
I'll
let
s-
them know that.
I'll
that's-
send the
yeah, yeah.
information
Mhm.
out to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And have them, you know, let them know what the decision was.
Yeah.
A lot of them, a few of them might be here.
Yeah.
And I did convey the summary that I kind of spoke here at the beginning. I did email that to the Washington Mall bid group of businesses, so they were aware of, I'm sure they were aware of the proposed ordinance, but I also made them aware of, you know, the possible changes that were forthcoming possibly this evening.
And M-Track will also be looking at this. I have talked to Martin. We'll take a look at the data after the summer, you know, and take a look at it and see what, you know, some of the impact might have been.
So-
And this is just the introduction, so.
Correct.
Right.
It's
But if you are to, obviously, we need to
amend.
make sure Chris is clear with what the changes are and make a motion to amend the proposed ordinance.
Can I try and spit this back to you guys so that and I'm going to do it in narrative form, not like, look at this line, look at that line. So I just want to be clear about, we're still working with the same existing language. We're going to be tweaking that. The green, orange, and blue zones, $2 an hour, payable in 10-minute increments. All on-street parking metered areas will be 10 to 6 between April and December 31, except when we'll talk about the blue zone. So the existing blue zone language that was crossed out is now going to be restored. So parking east of Philadelphia Avenue will have an earlier termination time of 5 p.m. So that's what's in there will be restored. That's going to live on. The all city parking lots language will remain the same. And then we're really making distinct rules for the yellow zone. The yellow zone is the areas on the map that Paul generated. $3 per hour instead of $4 that was proposed, payable in 10-minute increments. We're going to eliminate the 3-hour parking maximum and take a pilot, let's see how that works for the summer. But in this update, that 3-hour limitation is going to be removed. And then that's going to be a 10 to 10, again, between April and December 31. Then we get to the red zone. That's going to be $2 per hour like the other ones in 10-minute increments. And the parking will be enforced from 10 to 10, again, between April 1st and December 31. So the parking season in Cape May is now April 1st to December 31st.
Except the blue zone.
Except the blue zone,
So the blue zone is going to end?
October 31st.
October 31st.
Okay, all right, so I'm going to add that as well.
Yep.
But with all that, those are the updates.
Yes.
And all, the language, the updated version will reflect that, and that's what will be published and ready for second reading potentially.
Do I have a motion on the amendment?
I will make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call on the amendment?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes. Do I have a motion on the amended ordinance?
Motion?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments on that? Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes. And of course, we'll have second reading and public comment at the, not the next,
Actually, it is the next council meeting.
the May 19th meeting.
Yes.
No, 19.
Because remember, with the new publishing laws, the clerk is now able to, because we publish all of our legal notices on our website, we're able to meet the statutory guidelines for public notice and really have, be able to act on ordinances and different things at the following meeting.
Yeah, I was going to detail that a little bit later, but so expect a more expedited ordinance adoption timeline because we now can publish it to the website rather than having to wait a whole extra week to publish it in the weekly paper.
Okay, on to ordinance for second reading.
Yes, we have 601-2026, ordinance amending the City of Cape May Code establishing procedures and regulations for a memorial program with a public hearing tonight, Mayor.
Is anyone here wishing to speak on ordinance 601, memorial program? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Do I have a motion?
I'll make
the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
All right, moving on to the public portion on the resolutions only, Mayor.
Is anyone here wishing to speak on the any of the resolutions this evening? Resolutions this evening, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Stacy Sheehan, 928 Columbia Avenue. I have a concern with Resolution 189, 05-2026, a resolution authorizing procurement of janitorial services, and it's for $44,479. And my concern is this is from September 16th to November 15th, 60 days, which comes out to be $741 a day, that we're going to be hiring somebody to go from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And between September 16th and November 15th, I don't know if even all 11 of those bathrooms are even going to be open. And I just don't understand why we're spending that much money at that time of year for bathroom cleaning when basically not many people are here during the week. And you're, like I said, $741 a day for 2 people to be here to clean the 11 bathrooms, which I think are, and Paul, please correct me if I get the wrong bathrooms, for the 11.
That's all we have is 11.
The park, lifeguard headquarters, which will probably be closed in November, probably closes in October. The boardwalk has 5. The mall has 2. And I guess, is it City Hall and Convention Hall are the other 2? Or is it the Welcome Center? I wasn't sure. because my other question is, who is cleaning the bathrooms when we have them during the summer months for concerts? Is that going to be somebody else going in there to clean
So
after 6?
We already use this company for the summer, so this is like a second round because we weren't able to hire seasonal workers to do this. We're taking essentially our seasonal salary budget. That's essentially just 2 employees that we would have hired for that seasonal shift.
Well,
to do
I
that.
understand you have them for the season from May until,
No, we hire.
that you're hiring these people from May 15th to September 15th. I think it was the original contract was for.
Right, and this is to supplement that original
Right,
contract.
but do you really think we need 2 people every day, basically in the fall, when a lot of these people, there's probably no one even using these bathrooms during the week, to be here from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.?
We get
Stacy,
the calls and
pro-
complaints,
I
so
was
yes,
going
we
to say,
do.
part of the challenge here is when we get calls and complaints, when someone says a bathroom isn't open.
Hey, I'm sure you get complaints in the summertime when they're not clean, because
No, I'm talking in the off-season when people are walking and they're, they are out walking, on the promenade from September through to November, people visiting or locals, and when those bathrooms are either not open or not in a condition. So, I mean, it's a balancing act. Do we just say we're going to close half the bathrooms, so we cut half the contract?
I just think $741 during the off-season is ridiculous.
I don't
for
know that they
September.
necessarily change their rate based on our off-season, so from the contract
Well,
standpoint.
September, and then after November 15th, who's going to clean the bathrooms?
Well, don't we close a lot of the bathrooms?
A lot.
The mall's still going to be open, City Hall's still going to be open.
And a lot of
The
those
park is
shifts,
still
a
gonna be
lot of
open.
those shifts are covered by overtime employees and other seasonal staff that we do have that we do hire.
Okay,
So
'cause I guess my question is, we're outsourcing a lot of the work that the current Public Works is doing, which is grass cutting, bathroom cleaning, and I just wasn't sure what their jobs are eventually going to be if we're outsourcing a lot
well,
of their jobs.
every year we hire 19 to 24 seasonal employees. They haven't come to work here in Cape May City. We've had ads in the Herald, we've had ads on Indeed, we've had on the job, on the spot hiring, and we have maybe hired, I think, 4 seasonal workers so far this year. So this
Stacy,
is
this
not-
isn't a comment on what you're saying, because I understand your concerns, but I will just compliment Paul and Justin and the whole staff in trying to recruit. I have to say that between, what was the last thing at Convention Hall, the
We had to honor-
open house, advertise, I mean, they really have been putting a lot of things on advertising websites, and I just want to echo, I've seen the effort to recruit people, and it hasn't.
If you know
Well,
anybody,
Is,
have
let
them
me
stop
ask
by
you this
Public
thing,
Works.
with the Convention Hall for the concert, aren't they required to have
Yes.
bathroom
Yep.
people there?
And typically, if we don't have a seasonal
I
person
just
on
meant
that
that-
day, we pay somebody overtime to work that shift.
I meant the open house that they had at Convention Hall, that's all I meant, to recruit people. to
Right,
recruit.
but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
for concerts,
Yeah.
the concert people are required to have somebody to clean their bathrooms while somebody's there.
Yeah.
We schedule somebody in there. But the problem is, and so what we do is, we budget for this. So last year, we budgeted for this. We did this last year. And
Well,
the
we did
same.
do it, but we didn't pay this much an hour.
Well,
Yes,
Stacy, can I
we
just say,
did.
just so you know this, this is going to be pulled from the consent agenda and discussed by council. I just want you to know that.
Okay. My other question has to do with Resolution 195. And I just want to be clarification. So we're selling our litter vac to Wildwood for $1?
That
It-
also,
it's-
that also was going to be pulled from the.
It is a piece of equipment that has been sitting outside in the back of the Public Works yard for probably 3 years now since we've had replaced it. It is of no value to us. If you're going to determine what the value is, it's probably $100 worth of value. And
So in other words, we probably should put it into that selling of our equipment years ago?
yes, it should have been. Unfortunately, it got missed in the list of things that got to be sold, and Public Works finally got around to, oh, this is still sitting in the back of the yard. I need to move it out of here because the city manager is saying clean up the Public Works yard, and they've has an asset tag, so I have to bring it before council to dispose of it. But it's a,
My other question has to
Doesn't
do with Harborview Park. I guess Harborview Park is up to $1,791,000. How,
Is that which resolution?
yeah, for change order.
Number
Right, it's up to, but
190,
that's the
just so I
final
have it.
price, is up to
Thank you.
$1,791,000.
Uh-huh.
I guess my question is, how much is going to be paid by grants?
Good amount.
I think the grant was 1.3 million, 1 point over 3.3.
Let's say between 1.3 and 1.4.
Yeah, it's
And what's it, we have a match with that?
Yeah, we have well, 10%.
10% match.
10%?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And this was because, Paul, this.
Yeah, this change order is when they, for the new railing posts, there's only a 6x6 on the top of the existing bulkhead, and it's not, that railing post really needs some additional support down low so that it doesn't fall over. So we're just putting another 6x6 lower to kind of support the railing, so it's better supported.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Anyone else on resolutions this evening? Mr. Roush?
Good evening, Jules Roush, 1010 New York Avenue.
Good evening.
Resolution 196, the fireworks. We're giving a $30,000 gift to.
We partner with Congress Hall in our annual fireworks celebration. We typically give a payment to Congress Hall and partner with them in the fireworks display. We have a resolution on this agenda, I believe it's 18705-2026, a grant from the county as part of the celebration. So I believe about 3/4 of that we're using the proceeds from that is going towards the payment for this. So it's kind of, we've ramped up the celebration because of all the anniversaries going on this year. And so we're kind of, this is a much larger amount than what we normally provide as part of working at that, so that we really have a really exciting 4th of July fireworks celebration. And it's, it's a city partnership. Most towns, the fireworks presentation is paid for solely and contracted through the city. Here we partner with Congress Hall, and we're fortunate to have a good partner with and work with Cape Resorts. And for many years they paid the lion's share of the cost of the presentation, and we paid a lesser portion as a percentage. So this is.
Do we know what the total cost for the fireworks is?
They're still working on that. Part of working on that final number is knowing what is going to be authorized from council and is accepted, so that we can get to that final number. We're anticipating it's going to probably be in the $50,000 range, at least.
Minimum.
I don't know the final number, but
It's a lot.
We did say we'd like this to be extra special this year. For
I
the
have
250.
no questions about that at all. It's just,
I don't want anybody to say the mayor did a terrible job on the fireworks with 250.
And
that grand
honestly,
finale was
if we didn't get the grant from the county, it might not be as much, but in the budget, we did put additional line items specifically for anniversary celebration. So we already knew that we were going to ramp this up, and the county grant is just allowing us to add one more. Instead of a 4-inch shell, we're going to have some 8-inch shells, and it's just everything's going to pop, and you're not going to see one shell at a time. You're going to see a lot of multiple shells going off at one time. So it's going to be.
this will be
It's going to be a humdinger of a
big
show.
Season for fireworks, no question about that.
Yes.
Resolution 197 in the bills. There's Bill 09464, $358,000. Would you please explain, are we buying out the leases for the vehicles?
Yes. Yeah, that's, if you recall, last year we made one payment to Enterprise. After, we're using the capital portion of our budget, so this is not going out for long-term debt for these vehicles, so we're using budget funds in the capital portion of our budget to buy out the rest of the leases so that there's no long-term financing for the purchase of these
Okay, but
vehicles.
we will own the vehicles?
Yes.
How many vehicles are in that package?
This particular one's probably about 17 or so, but there was a previous one, all in total, I think it was 38 total, that was previously authorized by council to go for enterprise. So now we would own all 38 of those vehicles that council previously authorized. I think it was 40. They're about 40.
How many?
The
how many
original
is there?
lease was 40, I'm sorry.
Correct.
Mr.
The
Ramos.
original one, council authorized back in, I think, 2022, 2023, was for 40. Public Works only went out and got a total of 38 total, and then this cleans it up with about 15 to 17.
How many are EV as opposed to internal combustion? Do we have any idea?
Do you mean EV or hybrid? So we have some full EV and then we have some hybrid. None of them are plug-in hybrids, but there's, I think, three full EVs and
I'd say 10.
four.
Well, you got 3 total of the total EVs, and then you probably have about 8 hybrids.
Hybrids.
I just think at some point we need to standardize down and decide how we want to go. I think most people have found that the EVs, for the kinds of uses that we put our vehicles to, isn't very economical. That's all I have on the resolutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Jules. Anyone else on resolutions this evening? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. I know we had a couple that we wanted to remove from the consent agenda.
Yes. Which numbers, council?
189 and 195, please.
Anything else this evening?
Anything else, council? No? Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade?
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar?
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin?
Yes.
Mayor Mullock?
Yes.
18905, 2026, resolution authorizing procurement of janitorial services under New Jersey State Contract, Division of Purchase and Property Contract for Access New Jersey.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion for
Do-
discussion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions and comments?
Yes. And I didn't want to bring this up at that time, but I just clarification and questions on this, because as I'm looking at the two proposals, the one being September 16th through November 15th, to the tune of $44,000. That, looking at the service hours on that, that is from 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 in the evening. That's in our off-season. But then looking at the service hours of the back part of that contract, it's May 15th through September 15th. It's 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. I'm not sure why was that inadvertently?
So it changes because it's balancing our schedule between our full-time staff and our seasonal staff that we do have. So it's kind of figuring out their schedule and working it in and merging it with the schedule of our seasonal staff that we do have. I think we have 2, I think we ended up getting maybe 2 restroom cleaning staff, maybe. And then it's balancing with, okay, obviously Monday through Friday, 6 to 2, we can, Public Works staff can do that. So it's all in balancing what we need coverage and when.
This is 7 days a week, including holidays. So I guess my question is if we're able to do that during the height of the season, and we're able to have the staff, I just don't.
Yeah, is the staff, our staff working 2 to 6? Because that, I mean, based on Councilwoman Baldwin's question, looking at this, I would have flipped it
Yeah.
too, because it would appear, I think what you're saying, or we need clarification, are our employees working from 2 PM to 6 PM? And these service hours in this contract are being covered by this contract?
Yeah, and it's in the height of the season, so May through September, whereas the off-season,
I would say the off-season, you could do 6
Be
AM
6 to 2.
to 2, because, you know, it would be less volume, still needing to be serviced, but not at the degree of frequency and probably volume going through those facilities.
do you have?
Manager and council, I'm trying to find it. I don't want to speak before I find it. However, I thought we already contracted with Access New Jersey for the afternoon hours. They're already covering the afternoon hours. So now this resolution
so
is
we
to
have-
supplement what you have already authorized them to do from 2 till whenever the closing shift
So
is.
2 PM to 6 PM or whatever hours during the season,
They're already doing that.
that's in a contract?
Yes.
And then this is to
This is to
provide
supplement that
services
existing.
that we were unable to acquire
Yeah.
seasonal staff
So-
for. And then after season, this is contract coverage for the period of time from September through to November.
To make it whole.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's really 3 contracts.
Yeah, I
We're-
believe one has already been authorized by council, is that afternoon shift, if I'm not mistaken. I'm
And I
having
do
a hard time
recall
finding
that
it
from
right now.
before.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I think we did that last year when we couldn't hire
I
anybody.
think we even did it this year,
Okay.
too.
But it was only one contract last year, if I'm not
That,
mistaken.
that's true.
Correct.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
only
And
one.
I
And
think
we
it
had,
was
we had more
height of
seasonal,
season.
we had more
Yeah.
seasonal staff
I
last year.
think this is coming around now because they were trying to get more seasonals in.
Right.
And
Okay.
So
Sounds
do you
like
have
a
the
bad option.
original contract there?
I'm looking at my emails. For some reason, I don't have access to my server right now, so unfortunately, I'm not seeing it.
So,
But if you continue talking, I'll.
so Paul, none of our employees are doing any of this work?
No, they are.
They are. Okay.
Because it takes more than 11
No.
bathrooms. It takes more than just 2 people to cover this.
Okay.
I mean, we have a person that starts first thing in the morning. He starts at Station 1, and he's got to clean and go all the way around and do everything. You know, so it's not, you know, think about how long it takes to, you know, this isn't, you know, going in your house and you're cleaning your one single stall bathroom. You know, these bathrooms have multiple stalls. It's not a one-person operation. It's not a two-person operation. But you have to have, you know, the call comes in and says, "Oh, there's no toilet paper up at the bathroom at Broadway. I need toilet paper." You got to have somebody available to move and go restock that.
So council did authorize back in February of this year, a contract, through state contract to Access New Jersey.
And we did this last year.
Yeah.
I just,
Right.
I just want folks to know this, because I'm just doing the math. It's, you know, this 59,000, I'll call it 60,000, divided by 120, which is 4 months, equals $500 a day, divided by 16 hours, because there's 2 people working 8 hours, is $31 a day, $31 an hour, just so everyone knows that. And that's the
But
same.
that's not what they're getting paid.
No,
That's-
exactly.
Well, I just,
Absolutely, and so the math works, is what I'm trying to say, yeah.
And Eric does know that obviously with this budgeted amount, he can't get to seasonals, but he knows, hey, I can't hire 5 or 6 seasonals based off of these numbers to supplement the
So
budget number.
that was going to be my questions. This is a sort of almost a one-for-one. I'm sure it's not
Yeah.
exactly.
This is taking, the seasonal, for each
5
seasonal staff,
seasonals.
we budget $22,000. So he's going to take that seasonal salary budget and
Okay.
know that, okay,
Apply it.
I'm not hiring
Okay.
those people, and, because,
Right.
you know, we evaluated this when we put the budget together
Yep.
and formulated it, and we know what work we need to get done, and
I think
if we
as
can
long
hire
as-
seasonal staff, we'd love to
No, I
hire them.
completely understand, and I think that this is also, I like the fact that this is a contract being awarded to a company that is hiring disabled people, too. I mean, giving them an opportunity to work. And so that's something that I think is another, aspect of this that should be highlighted. So I'm pleased with that part of it. And as long as there's an understanding that this is the monies that's in his budget, that it's being reallocated, he's trying to work as smart as he can to make sure
Yes.
that things are taken care of.
And don't forget, any hours after 2 o'clock, if I have to have, I'm paying overtime.
Mhm.
And if it's a Sunday scheduled, I'm
Double.
paying double time.
Mhm.
For, not that this isn't a way to not have our employees do work, but it gets real expensive if I'm paying our employees. But we put up sign-up sheets for our employees. We have many times where they didn't want to work, nobody wants to work every Saturday and Sunday after working 5 days a week all summer long. So it's hard to find, ask our full-time people to come in and do it, as well as if we don't do the seasonal people, I don't want to make those hard decisions of closing down comfort stations.
We may have to meter the stalls is what we're getting.
We may have to put,
Okay.
yes.
Anything else?
Just a clarification then, just so the public knows, Aaron was able to find that. So from May 15th through September 15th, the original contract was from 2 to 10, and this one is from 6 to 2, so that is covered. I was just worried
Yeah.
about the timeframe. Yeah. And then the total amount from the previous contract as well as these two is about $164,000. So,
We might
okay,
need meters.
there we go.
All right. Any other questions, comments, council? Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullock.
Yes, and thank you for the questions and explanation. 195?
Yes, 19505, 2026, resolution authorizing sale of vehicle to the city of Wildwood pursuant to NJSA 4812-21.1.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions, comments?
I know we typically put things out on Gov Deals. I would like to have this has been sitting for like 2 years. It was I think the sweeper that came off the mall. I think I'd rather see what happens if we put it on Gov Deals first, before we, sell it for $1.
Not only that, there might be another town in this county that will buy it for $2.
Double.
It's going to need better bidding more.
I'm just saying, it's worth
I did
a
look
lot
on
more
Gov
than
Deals.
that.
There were a few of these out there.
Yeah, but-
You just don't know. I know.
But we have to list it as not working. So the ones on Gov Deals are probably,
There's a few things that are on
working.
there that, people buy old computers and all sorts of things, so.
so you'll
I
see
would
it,
just
you'll
say
see it,
just
you'll see
put-
something on the next agenda.
Yeah.
And if Wildwood wants to buy it, they can go on eBay,
Deals.
but we'll,
Then
Okay.
pay $2.
yes.
That's if everybody's okay with that.
I think it's prudent. I think it's a policy that we should continue.
Okay.
It's the people's money. It's the people's vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Move it?
Motion to remove, or?
motion to remove?
I'll make a motion to remove.
I'll second.
Lucky I was.
Okay, so we have a motion to remove it from the agenda. We have a second. Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullock.
Yes, but I just do want to say, I can see why this would maybe be looked at to just give to a neighbor if it's not working or anything like that, but I'm okay with removing it from the agenda. Thank you.
And finally, we have the addition to the agenda on the regular agenda, 19805, 2026, resolution authorizing change order number 2 to contract for construction of new Cape May Police Department headquarters.
And just to give a little brief description about them, I know it wasn't available, so I'll give a little more description about that. There are 2 portions of this change order for a total of $19,719. It was to add some louver and ductwork for a operated damper that was missed as part of the specifying of what was to be installed. And then it's also to install a trench drain in the Sally Port based on the sloping of the floor. We had one at the one end of the Sally Port, but we needed one at the other end, and it was kind of overlooked in the design. So both of these were just kind of add-ons for that. So that's what they included. So it's $19,719.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments, council? Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullock.
Yes.
Oh, and just for a record, that is
Bless you.
that is 0.23% of the contract value.
Thank you. City Solicitor, any new business?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
City Manager, new business?
No.
City Clerk?
You know, there are a number of items to announce, so I think I'm going to let Deputy City Clerk Turner handle it this evening. All right. Yeah. Keep him awake back there.
All right, here we go. So don't just run, make history for our Run Through History 5K. That's 7 a.m. check-in, 8 a.m. start on Saturday, May 9th. So that's the first year for this. That's going to be pretty exciting, I think. Right, Steve? Yeah, all right. Moving on, we have the HPC Awards Ceremony on May 13th. That's next Wednesday at 7 p.m. at the Chalfont Hotel. Come on out and don't just support HPC's work on this, but all the residents and business owners work hard to make these awards something that we can do. So I think we should celebrate that, and that's going to be a great event. On Saturday, May 16th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Atlantic City Electric is having a drop-off recycling event. So you can get $50 for each eligible item you drop off, which it could be working room air conditioners or dehumidifiers. And they'll even take it out of your car for you, which is a pretty cool deal. So if you've got a dehumidifier that works and you don't need it anymore, you got plenty of moisture, go ahead and bring it over and make yourself some money, all right? Forget California Dreamin', you'll be Jersey Jammin' at the Hello Summer Concert. Featuring AM Gold on Friday, May 22nd from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. Grab your Knights in White Satin and Daydream Believers and head on over to Cape May Convention Hall. And it's going to be a good time. So bring your beach chair, stay for the sweet sounds of summer, and leave with memories. That's on Friday, May 22nd. I wrote this, by the way.
I think we all understood that.
You don't say.
Thanks, Brian.
We're getting there. We're getting there. There's going to be a seaside celebration on Sunday, May 24th from 12 to 5 p.m. at Cape May Convention Hall. There's going to be free live music on the back deck featuring the Animal House Band from 12 to 2 p.m. And then Mike Dempsey, a DJ, from 2 to 5 p.m. There's going to be hot dogs, pizza, sweet treats, but wait, there's more. There's a sand sculpting contest. And you don't have to be a pro. Actually, you can be a semi-pro or a family to participate. So get your hand in the sand and sharpen your shovels for what promises to be an exciting day in Cape May. And then, of course, our Memorial Day ceremony will be Monday, May 25th, Memorial Day at Soldiers and Sailors Park. It's a really nice event if you haven't been. A lot of first responders, obviously veterans, and the Coast Guard come, and they do a really, really nice job. So that'll be 11 a.m., Soldiers and Sailors Park on Memorial Day. There will be only two more, I promise. The Citizenship Award on May 11th at 5 p.m. at Draper's Walk, right there on the mall. And finally, backed by popular demand, the city will be hosting an open house on Wednesday, May 20th from 5 to 7 p.m., featuring the city's various boards and commissions at Convention Hall. And that is all I have. Thank you very much.
Council, I immediately regret my decision and apologize on behalf of the clerk's
Erin,
office.
you're never going to be allowed to do announcements from now on.
Don't worry. We might trade him off to Casey's group and have him write some of our public affairs and social media.
By all means.
Boardwalk announcements.
Was he practicing all day in the office?
This is a shining moment.
I do like the boardwalk.
By all means, please
announcement
continue, Council.
Yeah. He and Merrill Reese. All right.
Yeah, Merrill Reese, yeah.
I don't think there's much left to say, but Councilwoman Baldwin?
Wow, how do I follow that? But just to kind of piggyback on the HPC award ceremony, I do want to say that the Chalfont graciously opened their doors for the ceremony that's going to be there, so hopefully all can come. The Jazz Festival, I mentioned this at the last meeting, May 15th through the 17th. I don't know if you all know that there's a nonprofit foundation that's part of the Jazz Festival that works with our youth within the county, and they perform concerts in the fall, and there's an artist in residence that goes and works with the youth throughout the school year, and then they come back and do a wonderful concert. And it really is a great music appreciation for the kids and the students in our county. So along the same lines, the second line, Saturday the 16th, which is a kind of like a New Orleans style second line where you're waving your, I'm getting like you. Where you're waving your, well, you can have your parasol, but yeah, that starts on the mall at 11 o'clock, and that's a really good time, a parade through the city. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Bodnar?
I want to thank Justine from the Environmental Commission for her presentation tonight, as well as John from the Jacob Jones Memorial Committee. I mean, both just outstanding presentations before the community and before City Council. And it's just another reminder just how invested the people who live in Cape May are in the community. So really grateful for their involvement. I thank them.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor?
I just wanted to give a shout out to Cape May Cares for their Earth Day event. The kids did a fabulous job going through their neighborhood, and they even went over to the Osborne Court and helped the seniors clean up their areas too. They did a fantastic job. And to the Martin and Deb Van Walsum for their outstanding generosity for a second year in a row. All of the kids who participated were given a seasonal beach tag and a beach towel, and they were just thrilled. So that program started last year by their own initiative and generosity, and it's grown, and I think it's going to become a yearly event. I just put Martin and Deb on the spot, but the kids really enjoyed it, and so it was a great event. Thank you.
Councilman Meyer?
Yes, thank you. I'd just like to say that I think this was one of my most favorite city council meetings I've ever sat at this table, because the two presentations we had were just top-notch, and the community that was here was very supportive, and it's just a lot of good vibes and a lot of good teamwork on this table, because we're working together, we're explaining ourselves to the community, and I think it's a lot of good teamwork. And on a different note, we had a Arbor Day celebration at the Lafayette Street Park. We planted 2 trees. One was a Liberty tree, and the other one was a beech tree, which I think is the only one in town. And that was in dedication to Jay Schatz, who was able to be let out and help celebrate with us Arbor Day. It's a beautiful tree on the way to the nature trail. It's got this beautiful plaque in front of it, and I just want to thank Paul, Justin, Aaron, Brian, Casey, Public Works, and Matt Notch for getting this all together. It was an excellent event, and there was a lot of people there. So thank you.
Yeah,
and thank you for being there as well, members of the council and mayor.
One sad note that I actually meant to bring up at the beginning was the passing of Sister Kay. Many of you knew her on Washington Street, and just someone who took care of so many people around her, and prayed for people, and was just such a wonderful person. So I was very saddened to hear her loss, but I know she affected a lot of you here in Cape May, so thank you for her blessing that she gave to us here in Cape May. I also want to mention Chris Mazza and his retirement from the police department. Chris was just such an excellent person that helped serve and protect our community for so many years, and someone I think all of us just really loved, and he cared so deeply for this community. Not going too far, but just a great person, and congratulations to Chris and his whole family. And I just echo those sentiments on the Columbia, and thank Amtrak for their volunteerism, the Environmental Commission for their volunteerism in regards to the Columbia study, as well as HPC and their hard work. And I do want to echo to what Shane said. Great job, Shane. You know, the tree ceremony was awesome, and I think you know that Jay loved that and really appreciated it. So that was a beautiful thing to watch happen. With that, we'll open it up for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak on any and all matters, please feel free to come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Jay said he never met a tree he didn't like.
My name is Mark Robertson. We live at 1309 Idaho Avenue, and I'd like to commend you. For the first time in 29 years, we don't have rusty water. So
good to
it's
hear.
really great.
Yeah.
But I also serve as chairman for the Planning Commission at home. We're about a 27,000 person municipality. And one of the issues, I wasn't here when you were discussing it, and that's around street trees. I was going to talk about the parking and everything, but you've taken a lot of those things out or modified them. But you have a lot of street trees that we have banned. We just went through a new comp plan. We're getting our saldo and our zoning ordinances modified right now. But the street tree at our house, the storm drain is basically ineffective. It's a golden locust. I have never seen the storm drain clear. It's always filled with leaves or seed pods. It's done thousands of dollars of damage to your streets, our sidewalks, my driveway, and I don't understand why you still have things like golden locust, sycamore, sweet gum, which we've all banned as street trees because we know what the root system does. So I'd really encourage you to...
I believe Mr. Meyer is the liaison to the Shade Tree Commission, and you have made some significant updates.
We do have a list of recommended trees at the Shade Tree Commission office.
Well, I didn't see anything in the minutes or anything that showed any of them were taken out.
Not taken out, but updated the list of recommended trees.
Well, you know, Paul's taking notes, and we'll look at your tree and your situation, and
Yeah, it's like the Bradford pear. It's now classified as an invasive.
Right.
And the city of York went and cut them all down. They were beautiful one time a year, and we definitely don't allow those. So
Shade Tree
that's
Commission, we don't support planting those trees anymore, and but we're not in a position to cut them down just because they're not.
Yeah, because I don't know how many times I've repaired the sidewalk. When we first bought the house, the city paid a little bit. The two sections were replaced. They're now 10 inches to 12 inches higher than everything else. And the work being done now, the contractor can't even put curb in. They're putting a piece of steel plate. So, you know, in the salt environment and everything, how long that's going to last you, and taxpayer is going to pay for that to be replaced again.
I will direct the Shade Tree Commission to your comments of tonight's meeting.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And my dad served 30 years in the Navy, and he always loved coming to Cape May. So I think the memorial is going to be great.
That's beautiful.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Stacy Chan, 928 Columbia Avenue. With the ordinance for meters, can I just get a clarification? Because it's a little confusing with the colors. So I'm just going to ask for areas because I think it might be easier. Down by the Cove, I think it's after 5 or 6 p.m. you're allowed to park there. Is that still going to be in effect or not?
So on Beach Avenue, no. So on Beach Avenue, that's considered the red zone. That's a 10 to 10 zone. But as you would move off beach, that orange zone would be off at 6 p.m.
6 p.m., okay.
So like first and second.
So, but you're going till December 31st, whereas before I think it was probably October 31st or so, or even earlier than that, is it?
No, it would have been October.
Was October 31st?
Yeah, the red zone we're keeping on there just because of that whole stretch, especially up, between all the bars and restaurants you have there, it was decided to keep that red zone on during that time because of the amount of.
But I guess my question is, so you're going to have till December 31st on First Avenue and Second Avenue?
No, yeah, yes.
Okay, only because it's residential, and now you're not allowing people to park in front of their houses, which we know probably November and December, there's probably no one even going to park down there but the residents. So I didn't know if you wanted to rethink about the fact that you're not allowing residents to park in front of their houses. And I think when it was originally, meters were put in there, that's why they allowed those times so people could park in front of their houses after certain times, along with those months. Because, hey, anybody that's here in the fall knows that during the week, there's not many people here, it's only on the weekends, and now you're not going to be having, now that you're allowing Beach Drive and go till December 31st, the workers on the mall are only going to be parking in the residential areas. So now you have people that are here year-round, they're going to have the mall help parking again in front of their houses. So you're not allowing them to park where it's free, down by the beach and everything, and then walk up. You're kind of still compressing that area into forcing them into the neighborhoods where it's free, which, if you're a resident, you would like to have some time where you're not fighting for a spot in front of your house. My other question has to do with, again, back to the bathrooms from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I forgot to ask this. Because these people that are cleaning the bathrooms are going to be in the bathrooms and also in playground areas, are they going to have background checks? Because you're now putting them in, cleaning bathrooms in those playgrounds, and
I mean, our state contract, but I mean, even a lot of our current seasonal employees don't get a background check.
Oh, okay.
In those areas.
So you have people that are going to be working in the area where children are, and you're not doing the background checks?
The children usually aren't unattended.
The
in there.
restrooms are
Playgrounds?
closed when they're cleaning
What?
them. The restrooms are closed when they're cleaning them. Nobody's
yeah.
allowed in there when they're being cleaned.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like somebody's going to be using it and.
Only because I've been in the mall area where I've been in the bathroom and they've been cleaning at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why I was bringing that up.
Generally not, I believe, the practice that we have, but we can double check.
Well, most likely, if you are in there when they're cleaning, you've probably gone past the
Restroom closed sign.
restaurant closed while we're cleaning sign.
Well, but you have
and-
children. I'm just bringing it up because you have a bathroom at the playground, which is fairly new.
Yeah.
And, we want to make sure that the kids are kept safe. Sure. Make sure I did everything. So, are we, and we are still free, back to the parking, sorry about this, we're still free where after 5 p.m. down there by Peter Shields, right?
Yes.
And is that on Beach Drive too?
East of Philadelphia is the blue zone, and that's got an abbreviated time frame, which is 5 p.m. instead of 6.
Right.
And then it's also abbreviated season, where it's April 1st to October 31st.
Right, because I figure if you're allowing people to be October 31st in that area, I don't understand why you're not doing that October 31st in the other area. Just my comment. I ride my bike, so I don't really care, but I know a lot of citizens do when they have parking meters in front of their houses. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else this evening?
Sir, if you want to come, after Ms. Johnson speaks, you can come up and speak again if you like.
Hi.
Hi, Roz.
Johnson, 826 Lafayette Street. Thank you for mentioning May 20th, the open house town hall. Shane said this was one of his favorite city council meetings because he saw people reacting to something wonderful that was being planned. I see no advertisement at all on the city website for the open house. It's not under events. It's not under meetings. There's a scrolling on top that says, the
Projects.
Historic Preservation candidates find out about this, and it says, city projects. I think we need something like that.
It's on the community events.
It's not,
It's there. I'm looking at it right now.
it's under the meeting and events?
On the homepage, under community events, it lists Spring Sidewalk Sale on the 17th, Exit Zero Jazz Festival 17th, Cape May City Open House on the 20th.
On the 20th?
Yep. It's right there. I mean, yes, it's not under
Looking
city
at it, too.
meetings.
I think it's on our
because it's not really a
Facebook
city
page, too.
meeting. So it's on the community events
Yeah.
Okay.
side.
So what I'm saying is that where can we advertise this? Because it's our responsibility to tell the public about this meeting.
And it's on our social media and it's on our
Yeah.
website.
Okay.
I am providing a notice to the paper just as an FYI, but yeah, it is being disseminated currently.
So I also contacted Rachel Shubin because she takes care of the takes care of what's going on in city council. And she said she would mention it in the May 13th issue of the Star and Wave.
That's good.
So, yeah, I just think as much advertisement we can get out about it, it'll repeat that great feeling that you had today. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Roz. Sir?
Yeah, I guess Stacy, come up with a pet peeve for mine. What is your state law around clearances? Pennsylvania, it's pretty straightforward. Anybody around children has to have all three of the clearances. I'm a mandated
For
reporter.
hiring, we follow all the state rules and guidelines for hiring and registration.
Yeah, but
notification.
people working at your playground and everything where you've got.
We follow those state guidelines.
So
Okay.
sir, just so you know, so the Joint Insurance Fund is kind of our go-to for these types of mechanisms, and they've recommended, and we follow all their guidelines and procedures that they've put
Okay.
into place.
Yeah, because I'm a vice president on a board and I'm a mandated reporter, so that, something that I really take a hard look at.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Mayor, City Council. My name's Chris Cook, 313 Washington Street. I've been lucky enough to have a business on the mall for the last 18 years. I want to say, first, I value everything you guys do. Cape May is a wonderful place to visit. It's truly a remarkable town. We're all lucky to be here. I just wanted to give my personal thoughts about the increase in the parking meters and the timing of the parking meters. I remember speaking the last time that the meters were increased. I know it was proposed to us as something that would benefit the turnover of people in our business and things like that. I've since found studies that seem to contradict the evidence. I know that there's been stuff that's, been brought forward by the commissions, but there was a Professor Ken Timedale from the Department of Economics in California State University that shows increasing of parking fees generally doesn't have positive economic effects. But more so to that, I wanted to come and speak.
Chris, can I ask you that?
Sure.
You said economic effects. Did you mean that?
Yeah, for businesses that would be
for
affected
business.
by
I
that.
got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
I understand that the city's
yeah.
probably doing this as a revenue increase for
Right.
the city
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
But last time it was proposed is like, oh no, this is going to help you guys
This
out
is
as well.
this is for revenue.
Sure, sure. And I am pleased that there's a revision making it, rather than doubled, bringing it down to the $3 an hour. Personally, I would, in this time of economic, uncertainty and, the cost of living of all of our visitors that come here, I don't know if it's the right time to do it at all, but again, you guys have the financial structure behind that of why it has to be there. I would want to say that being someone who works on the mall and everything, we deal with the public often about parking meters. I know there was the change to go fully to the app-based system, which was a cost-saving measure by the city. Definitely doesn't go over very well with the public. They often have difficulty. We're often trying to help them out, but it's definitely challenging for people who are less tech savvy, even with issues with the one service going down, the servers going down, and other issues happening. So although a lot of our visitors and even locals in the regional area have a positive view of our city in general, I think the interaction that they have with the parking system we have has always been a negative one. No one likes paying parking in general, but even the motions that we've done has made more of a negative effect with them in a lot of situations. And specifically to the hard limit on the timing, I did want to speak about 3 hours sounds like a lot, but considering our shopping mall is a great shopping mall and all the restaurants and the ice cream places and everything that's on it, 3 hours can go by pretty quickly. I've definitely helped people out before where they're shopping in the store, their parking meter's about to expire, they can't add time to it, so they have
Chris,
to.
can I interrupt?
Yeah, sure,
Mind
sure,
if I
of course.
just ask you, what would you like to see in regards to the time?
We've taken out the 3 hour, by the way.
Yeah.
Sure.
But just in general, like you said, I know your boots on the ground. What would you like to see?
Sure. I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to have any kind of hard limit on it in case you had.
So just no limit.
I mean, I can understand having to do, you want to encourage turnover. You want to make sure that people come. If you're going to have some kind of limit on it, like the 4 hours or 3 hours on the app, as long as there's a way to go past that, the idea of marking tires and then having someone get a ticket on top of that would be a further distaste to visitors.
You can go in and add time because we have the data.
You can't actually add time beyond the 3 hours. What you have to do is you have to create a second session and like overlap over top of it, which is hard for a lot of people to even understand. That they're like, I can't add time, I can't add time.
I mean,
they'll leave rather than figuring out I have to start an entire new parking session.
But the way that we should have programmed it with a 3 hour limit is it wouldn't even allow you to start a new session. You would actually have to move your car to a different Park Mobile zone to initiate a new session. So that's how the 3 hour limit is enforced. So that's why we know that it's never been enforced, because we don't have that setting set up.
So
because
Chris,
it is a inconvenience to start a new session, but it's much more convenient than having to go get in your car, move to a different Park Mobile zone, and find a spot in a different zone. So,
Right. And
that's-
someone wouldn't do that. They would just leave,
Correct.
We deal with the frustration of the visitors, both from the local area and from out of town.
Chris, I
dealing with it.
know you guys do, and I've heard it from a lot of people, and frankly, you all do a great job of being ambassadors to Cape May for some of maybe the shortcomings that we do have. And
Sure.
Listen, my parents don't have smartphones, so this is something that I've struggled with. Now that we have the kiosks, as you know.
Yeah.
But let me just say this: we see this as a working partnership, obviously. So I think if there's any recommendations that you have, I do think the $3 is probably going to pass. Just to let you know that,
Okay.
because it has been 6 years. You guys know the cost is it's gone up, so we've got to maintain it a bit. But we are open to suggestions, and I know that you all deal with this on a daily basis, so we'd be happy to hear from any other suggestions.
I just want to make sure that, we value Cape May as an affordable place for a wide variety of people to come. And I want to make sure that we're still, keeping middle-class Americans and whatnot able to come down and able to afford it. And every little thing that, eats away at that is something that affects the affordability of visiting us. So thanks for the consideration.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Promise not to take long. Jules Rouse, 1010 New York Avenue. Mayor, again, in the newspaper, you commented about the Taxpayers Association proposing or promoting a 1% tax increase. That's absolutely true. However, you didn't finish it by saying to have it applied against reducing debt.
I think that's a newer asterisk to that comment, but I'll take that. Yes.
And that was a consistent thing when you adopted the increase in the room rate. Well, we asked that 1% also be added to reduce debt.
I agree.
One of the important things, and I've talked with the city manager, that the application that Jacob Jones should be making is a formal application like any other application. It is submitted to the city for the review of the various departments that are necessary to show that they comply with the normal procedures that every applicant has to go through. I don't know that that's been made clear to them, but it certainly is something that is important as far as I'm concerned.
We agree, and they will.
Yeah, they're making an application to the HPC. They're scheduled, I think, at their next meeting.
I don't know that for a fact, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's scheduled for the next meeting. Yes, so they couldn't make the presentation until they had really authorization from the city to put something on city property.
I
So
understand.
you kind of need
I understand
authorization
the
from the
chicken and egg.
property owner to move forward. So now that they kind of have that, now they can move forward with the HPC.
In line with the Jacob Jones, and I have supported this project from the beginning. It is a monument as opposed to a memorial. They are distinctly different animals, and I think it needs to be understood that way, that it's a monument. What we have at the tower in Cape May, towards Cape May Point, is a memorial. And in line with that, I'd like to pass around for each of you to see the kind of effort that's been made by MAC. MAC runs the tower as well as the lighthouse. They've done an outstanding job in providing the public with really meaningful information about those two facilities. This is what I'm passing out to you are photographs of some of the plaques that are mounted at that facility to give the people an understanding of exactly why those things were built, what their purpose was. But the more important one is they have spent a great deal of effort in describing the Jacob Jones along with the surrender. And I did not know until a couple of weeks ago when I've made several visits out to the observation tower, and I didn't know there's a video out there of the actual surrender of the German sub on top of the remains of Jacob Jones, and it was ordered by the Navy, and it was made as quite a big production, and there's a video of that. So as we go through the process of approving the Jacob Jones monument, my concern is what information will be available to the public regarding the value of that facility? What does it really mean? Because the way it's organized now is they're just going to look out on the water. They're not going to see anything, learn anything other than the names of the individuals. So I pass that on. I want to make sure that this is a great asset for the city and that we take full advantage of it. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Kevin, you go ahead, please. Yeah.
Hi, Kevin Black, 912 Corgi Street. Just to add a little bit of clarity around the Jacob Jones and memorial monument, whatever we're calling it, there has been a significant amount of descendant research that's been done, a lot of it, and at any point we would be happy to share it, but it will be shared as part of interactive signing with QR codes, with deep history around all of the 138 people, their families, the legacy, a lot of other side stories about the people and the activities that happened leading up to that and subsequent to that. So I think it's much broader than what you see at the Lighthouse, but I welcome you to see some of that information.
That's great.
That's it.
Thank you, Kevin. Laura?
Long evening. I'm going to make it short.
Thank you, Laura.
I've been waiting to see this. I've been waiting.
Hi, Deanna. Good to see you.
And we tried to coordinate it with the colors that are already here with the halves. I'm going to put on the table here.
That's beautiful.
Do you want help? It's okay. You're right. Just make sure it doesn't fall.
Sure.
Yeah, great idea.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening,
Good
Mayor,
evening.
Council. I'm here to dedicate this picture collage to the
Ma'am,
city of Cape May.
I'm so sorry. Could you please state your name and address for the record?
Oh, Laura Calnan, Cape May, New Jersey. We got a National Historic Landmark May 11th, 1976. And Carolyn Pitts was instrumental in getting our landmark. And there is really nothing in writing or visually in Cape May honoring her or celebrating her. And when you look around, in this room especially, these Habs drawings were basically created by Carolyn Pitts and the Dream Team. And they basically did it for 6 years. And in a few of the pictures there, you'll see pictures of the Chalfont Hotel. Carolyn Pitts and the team stayed at the Chalfont Hotel numerous times. The other place she stayed was the Baronet and also the Navy Leafy House. And when you look at the Habs, each one of those is on the wall here. So I would like to present it to Cape May and see if you could decide where you're going to put it.
That's
Either in this room or the hallway.
absolutely.
But someplace where it'll celebrate Carolyn and the Dream Team.
That's,
Okay?
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Laura.
You're welcome.
We I'm hoping you, I don't know, just make sure you, obviously, we have the Historic Preservation Awards ceremony on the 13th. You know this, right? Okay. And Carolyn Pitts, of course, will be there and be honored. And also on the 11th, I believe it is, right? She's receiving the Citizenship Award of the Year, which we're proud to give to her because, well, just what you just said. I mean, she has so much effect on this city.
And that'll be at 5 o'clock at Draper's Walk.
We wouldn't have a National Historic Landmark designation if it wasn't for Carolyn.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I did find in the papers in Washington, D.C., is the actual outline of our National Historic Landmark District described, and in the bottom it has the latitude and longitude.
Wow.
And the one person that helped her with creating that map and getting the longitude and latitude was Captain West from the U.S. Coast Guard base.
Wow, very cool.
Okay?
That's awesome. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Deanna. Thank you. Anyone else this evening? Seeing none, we'll close public comment and close the meeting. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
I make a motion